Thank you, and good afternoon again, everybody. So we'll start with our first speaker. I'll just give a short introduction. Prof. Rashid Al-Yahyai. He is from the College of Agricultural and Marine Sciences, Sultan Qaboos University in Oman. And he's a specialist in arid climate agriculture with a focus on tree and fruit production. He has over 30 years research and hands-on experience in tree fruit physiology, post-harvest science, and sustainable agroecosystems. He teaches horticultural science at undergraduate and graduate levels. He's a consultant for various organizations and a speaker at local and international events. I invite you to give your speech on olive, innovation in value addition and expansion in Oman.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's me in my local uniform. Thank you, Professor Jafar. Thank you, everyone, for the organizers for this wonderful meeting and the participants for their interaction. Today, I'll be speaking about a project that I lead, actually, but I am not an expert in all the areas where the project will cover. So some of the materials have been published, and if you would like more information, I'll be more than willing to give you a copy of the publication. I'll speak about Oman. Oman, as some of you already know, many don't, is in the Middle East, and I know that you know the Middle East already. Also a desert, a large desert actually. Most people think Oman is just like any other Middle East countries, like the empty quarter, where there's nothing grows, but there's a whole range of biodiversity in that quarter. But Oman is biodiverse in terms of geography. It has mountains that reach more than 3,000 meters above sea level in the north. And right now there's a monsoon. The monsoon that reaches India also reaches the western side of the Indian Ocean. And so our southern part of the country is extremely green, more than green than here in large area of the south. My focus will be in the north. This is how it looks like. This is a mountain oasis. There's a range of mountains, and you can see there in the background, there is a vegetation, wild vegetation in the mountains. And this mountains has so many villages and villagers that rely heavily on agricultural production, and some of them on also animal rearing. And so date palm as a heat-tolerant crop is the most common and the most abundant. There's about 8 million trees of date palms in Oman. So that's the number one crop. Even here in areas where date palm doesn't do as well, people still grow date palm because of their attachment to the palm tree itself. But in this area, especially in this region, from here upward, it's about 1,600 meters above sea level. You can see this is mostly peach and apricot, which is deciduous fruit crops. Many of these deciduous fruit crops, peach, apricot, walnut, also we have pomegranate, have been traditionally cultivated for such a long time. And this is where they grow them, in these terraces. These are mostly pomegranates, peach and apricots. Also there are apples and pears in some areas, but not as much as pomegranates. And you can see the villages on top and the terraces down there, just like you see in many Asian countries where they grow rice as well. A newly introduced crop, but it is not actually new. This tree is olive, wild olive, Olea europea, subspecies cuspidata, has been there for thousands of years. Some of these trees have been identified to be over 700 years old. But as a crop, the olive itself has only been introduced very recently, less than 15 years ago, as a crop, and still actually being assessed in terms of varieties. And that's because there is an increased awareness about the benefits of oils such as olive oil. And much of it, almost all of it, is actually imported from overseas, and it constitutes large amounts. Actually, in a couple of years, you have close to 25,000 tons that's been imported, close to 17 million reals. 1 real is, you multiply that by 2.6 to get to the dollar, so it's large quantities, like almost $50 million. And consumption per person now, as oil, reaches about 1 kilogram per capita. So that's quite a lot. And the opportunities are there to produce olives locally, just like other deciduous fruit trees. The first is very old, an old tree. Mostly farmers and mostly locals in their home gardens introduced trees, olive trees to the area, but they didn't know what to do with the fruit. It's something that's always the case. Like I can introduce a coffee somewhere and it will fruit, but people wouldn't know what to do with the fruit. Or chocolate, also the same thing. The same struggle we had as olive producing country to introduce new mills. And so the first one was only introduced in 2011, so that's very recent. Relative to how old is the tree has been sitting there and nobody's harvesting the fruit or know what to do with it. It's so bitter when you eat it. So it's not, I think they tried it the first time and they decided not to go for it anymore. But later on, they start to produce oil, and now there's more than 20,000 olive trees in that particular area. They are all grown around that range between 1,500 to 2,000 meters above sea level. In this area, temperature go below zero. As I mentioned, the geography of the Oman is high altitude, so temperature can be good enough for the chilling requirements of olives, and as it is in so many fruit crops, deciduous fruit crops. The number of farmers, about 691, so they share a lot of things in common with other countries. All of them are almost less than 1 acre, very small scale farms. And this is a problem because each farmer now produces different variety, the one they got from the ministry when they distributed to them. And so there is about 20 cultivars that has been cultivated. And these mills, there are only 2 or 3 of them, and they were received from all farmers. So they mix it. So you don't have like Koronaki or Bikwal on its own, a variety, each olive oil with its own variety. No, the production is mixed. And that affects the quality and also affects the production. And the fair price also to the farmers as well. So this is how it is in 2022 when we started the project, about 10,000 oil production from 84 or 85,000 tons of fruit. Each tree will produce around that range, 80 to 100, and 20% of that will be oil. And the price per liter is about $50 for this because it is deemed exotic. It's not like imported ones. So people use it for all kinds of reasons. So production since then have been increased all the way to now. Now is reaching about 90 to 100 tons of fruit, of olives every year. So the area is expanding and the production is expanding. So we propose this project to see what areas we can expand on olive production in Oman, as well as increase the value. And this is one of the points we had in the discussion. Value addition is very important to any crop production, not only olives. That goes for everything. And so olive leaves a lot of waste in the form of pomace. And so what we're trying to do here is look how can we add value, extract more from that byproduct or waste of the olive mills, as well as see where we can grow olive trees in the country and what varieties best suit each area, and what variety will give us more oil, and so on. So this kind of information that we're looking for as a new crop being introduced in the country. We also look at the genetic makeup of the local wild olive in the north and the south, which is the Cuspidata subspecies. The point is to see if there are any advantages as a germplant to be introduced in any hybridization program in the future to improve what we have imported mostly from different countries. And I'll show you the list here. Mostly from Syria, Tunisia, Egypt, Italy, Greece, Syria, so mostly from Mediterranean countries. And many of them have done well, especially Koronaki here in terms of oil content. And these varieties, the other ones are less, And these can be used for pickling. If the olive oil content is low in certain varieties, it can be pickled. And so here we have a long list of varieties, up to 20 in total, but these are the top ones that have been introduced to farmers, and they have been successful in terms of oil production. So this is the oil quantity and the quality as well, because now there are very strict standards of oil production if you want to go even local, not only international. And these are the constituent of these samples that we have, and it has to be noted that this is a mixed from all varieties. So, but the composition is similar across all varieties in terms of oil content. A lot of it is unsaturated mono and poly fatty acids. 30% of that around for the saturated fatty acids, and oleic, palmolic, linoleic, and palmolic are the highest concentration in these samples that we collected from the local farmers, from the local mills. Okay, and so our biggest challenge is right now, as probably some of you already know, there is also, extra virgin olive oil, the one you see in the market, that's like the best of the best. There's also virgin olive oil, which is what's left from the extra virgin olive oil is being run for the second time to extract that second virgin olive oil. And then a third press again, that's called pomace, which is usually olive oil left over plus other oils from canola or from sunflower and so on. So there are usually 3 presses before we get there. And so here we have only one. Only extra virgin olive oil. The rest is thrown away. So what we took it was called pomace, and then we actually freeze dried it and vacuum dried it, hot air dried it, open dried it, and sun dried it, extracted the oil from it, and tried to recover a lot of the products from it at this extraction using supercritical CO2 extraction, is green extraction. And so the pomace, after drying, gave us plenty of fat, protein, and moisture to work with. So that was, as a value added, a byproduct, like fiber and proteins and so on. So this research is ongoing. I'll be happy to give you information and details if you want more. Because of the time, we'll go. What are the constraints to olive production in Oman? It is water, and I think in many countries also, climate, as we have discussed, because this is linked to temperature. It requires chilling units, so temperature has to be, low. Any global warming will reduce the production of the fruit. Of course, traditional agricultural practices, they're still new to the country, and the national standards are not existent yet. But there is opportunity for expansion of olives in Oman, and I think in many other places in the region. Pomace is an excellent source and can be a good value for growers. And local oil shows a strong monounsaturated profile, which is healthy and beneficial to the community. Green extraction is the way to go. And wild olive germlands that you saw need protection now because there's expansion in areas where these trees exist because they deem useless, basically. And then we have to do the mapping, and we have done some of this work and published some of it using climate mapping software, including AI, by the way. And so now we know where we grow our fruit crops, and these people would be much more happier to produce and give us more fruitful and expensive oil. That's the end of it. Thank you very much. Thank you for keeping me on time. And I'll be happy to answer your questions or share any publications if you are interested.
So we now open the floor for questions.
Some of you here from Pakistan, by the way, the Olea Europea cuspidata is the same one as the wild olive in Pakistan. It's the same thing. So if you have done something with your own olive, let us know.
So since you're looking at the wild olive species, yes. Is there any research on any special genetic properties that it might have? For example, disease resistance, or is it more adapted to the local climate?
Yes, it is more adapted. Yeah. It has this heat tolerance property and drought tolerance. As you can imagine, we only get 300 in this area. Yeah. We get about 100 to 500 millimeters of rain per year.
Wow.
So it's very limited and also confined to the winter. So the whole year, almost 10 months with no rain at all. So they have very high drought tolerance and also heat tolerance, because some of the temperature goes here to 35, 40s, and even though they are in the winter they go sub-zero, but in the summer it's very hot. So they have these properties. And actually, my wife has done her PhD in University of Reading in the UK with wild olives, and she studied the genetic properties of. But we're still at the very early stage to identify specific genes that are for heat tolerance or for drought tolerance.
Yeah, because that's going to be very useful in the future
Yes.
as everywhere is getting hotter. So that's great.
So,
Are there any other questions? Okay. If not, thank you very much, Prof. Rashid.
welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you.